A Paralympic cycling champion killed in a crash in North Texas. How he's being remembered. Jurors break down in tears as they watch video of Athena Strand's final moments.
She keeps asking him, where are we going? Finally, she says, are you a kidnapper?
A North Texas team says they're out $60,000 and the trip of a lifetime. They say the company they paid is ghosting them.
And the Dallas Wings formally introduced #1 draft pick AZ Fudd.
Well, what can I do to get better? How can I be a better teammate? What can I wear? What other areas can I grow? And so that is definitely the mindset that I want to have going into this year.
But first, Chief Meteorologist Pete Delkas is tracking some changes in the weather this weekend.
Well, good evening, everyone. We do have some changes. I have a very strong Saturday early morning cold front that'll pass through. Right now we have nothing more than a couple of clouds across the area, but my end of the week forecast tomorrow will be a lot like today. It'll be dry, just like today was. It'll be warm, it'll be humid, it'll be a little on the muggy side. We hit 85 tomorrow. We start with some clouds in the morning, then partly sunny in the afternoon. Saturday's a pretty cloudy day. And look at the high, 63 degrees, that's it. A cold front will move through about 4 o'clock in the morning, and that means about half of us, 50% of us or so, will pick up rain on Saturday. What time? It's on and off all day. I'll have the timing coming up. And then on Sunday, look at this. We start at 48 degrees. We warm to 72. A beautiful end to the weekend. I'll have that rainfall timeline, and wait until I show you. I did the math today. It's kind of scary. But I did some math today, and I added up March and April, the temperatures, how warm they've been. Wait until you see these numbers. Truly, they were a bit shocking. I'll have those numbers, the 14-day forecast, too, coming up.
All right, we encourage you to watch WFA Plus to keep track of any rain and storms in North Texas. You'll have access to radar 24/7 to see when it hits your neighborhood. The streaming app is free to download to your TV.
Tonight, friends are remembering a Paralympic gold medalist killed in a crash.
Dory Sellinger was a 3-time world track cycling champion and at one point held the world record.
Loved ones tell us he was involved in a crash today in McKinney. It happened at Alma Drive and the Sam Rayburn Tollway Service Road.
Jobin Puneker just spoke with Sellinger's best friend about the legacy he leaves behind.
Dory Sellinger rode this route every day for an hour and a half. Cycling was his passion, even after he retired professionally. It was at this intersection along Alma and Sam Rayburn Tollway that he was killed, doing the sport he loved. Ryan Chrissy got a frantic phone call Thursday morning from Dory's wife telling him about the accident. He drove to this intersection to learn one of his best friends had died. He was hit by a vehicle in the early morning.
If you knew him, you would swear he loved you, because he did.
You love him.
I loved him with my whole heart, and I'm aching immensely.
Dory Sellinger was well known in the cycling world. He was a Paralympic gold medalist in Atlanta in '96, got 3 medals in 2000 in Sydney, and was a 3-time world champion. Ryan tells us Dory was incredibly humble and willing to teach younger cyclists.
He was a great natural athlete, but super driven. And he could really turn any little thing into motivation.
Ryan describes a man who loved his family more than anything. He didn't say a lot, but was subtle and funny and playful. Dory rode with a prosthetic. He lost his leg in another crash in the early 90s. He also lost his friend in that crash. We're told Dory was designing prosthetics for Parkland and loved doing that. Ryan had this reminder to drivers.
We all need to get home. You may think it's an inconvenience that because you got stuck behind a cyclist for 10 seconds, but 10 seconds isn't going to change your life, but it may change someone else's.
And we're hearing there are plans for a memorial ride in his honor. The McKinney Police Department tells us this is an active investigation and still no word on what's happened with that driver. Reporting here in McKinney, I'm Jobin Puneker.
Tonight, Dallas police are investigating a carjacking that ended in a deadly crash. Police say the carjacker jumped into a passing vehicle in East Dallas, pushing the driver out near Live Oak Street. The suspect sped off and crashed into another car a block away. The impact pushed that car right into a pedestrian who died at a hospital nearby. Doctors also treated the suspect for less serious injuries. They're in custody right now.
New tonight, Governor Greg Abbott's office is threatening to cut state funding to the city of Dallas if city leaders fail to change policies the governor says limits police cooperation with federal immigration authorities. Our partners at the Texas Tribune report Governor Abbott's office also sent letters to Houston and Austin. All three cities have rules directing police officers not to prolong a person's detention to investigate immigration status or hold them for federal agents. Dallas could be at risk of losing more than $32 million in grants and $55 million in safety funding for the World Cup. The city released a statement today. It remains committed to complying with all applicable state and federal laws while continuing to prioritize public safety for the residents of Dallas and ensuring our officers have the resources and support necessary to effectively serve the community. The city says it will respond to the governor's office in writing by April 23rd.
Well, we just came to an inflection point in Tanner Horner's murder trial. Prosecutors rested their case after showing jurors video from inside his delivery van. As senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez reports, it reveals in graphic detail what happened to Athena Strand.
It was painful to hear. Prosecutors played a video that captured the kidnapping murder of 7-year-old Athena Strand.
You could actually hear what we think might be the point where he began to strangle her.
It was so graphic the judge allowed it only to be played for the people in the courtroom. Jurors saw Horner lure Athena to the back of his van and take her away. He tells her, "Don't scream or I will hurt you." And you hear Athena asking, why is this happening to her? He tells her, because you're pretty.
She keeps asking him, where are we going? Finally, she says, are you a kidnapper?
Horner covers up the camera in the van. The video stops, but the audio keeps recording. He drives for a while, then stops the van and tells Athena to take off her shirt. She asks why.
She finally says, my mom told me I couldn't do this to anyone else. You can't do this to me.
Horner doesn't stop, and you hear Athena repeatedly fighting for her life.
She would revive. She'd start crying. She would scream. He finally got to the point where he was telling her to shut up.
As the torture continues, Horner turns on the radio and Jingle Bell Rock is playing.
And he's going down the road. She's screaming, and he's singing along with Jingle Bell Rock.
There wasn't a dry eye in the courtroom, including the jury.
They weren't just crying, they were sobbing.
The video comes back on after Horner has disposed of Athena's body and he is seen smoking a cigarette, texting and making calls, then cleaning the back of the van. The next day, he's back in Athena's neighborhood while the search for her is going on. Prosecutors say the videos show who Horner is, a danger to others, and they hope this evidence sends him to death row. In Fort Worth, I'm Rebecca Lopez.
The jury has tomorrow off, so we'll be re-airing the first day of testimony in the trial all day on WFAA+. Our coverage begins at 8:30.
Tonight, parents of Irving ISD students are encouraged to talk to their children about a former school bus driver. He was just arrested on a charge of child grooming, and police are searching for more possible victims. Police say Juan Gonzalez worked various routes around the district for 3 years. He is accused of inappropriately touching an 8-year-old girl from Townsville Elementary earlier this month. WFAA obtained police documents stating he touched the little girl's thighs several times and fixed her skirt. Police say Gonzalez himself indicated there may be additional victims. Irving ISD says it has notified the families of students who might have come in contact with Gonzalez.
Now to a developing story in the Middle East where President Trump says the U.S. and Iran are, quote, very close to making a deal. A second round of peace talks could resume this weekend. A 10-day ceasefire between Israel and Lebanon is also in effect right now. That's something Iran has been calling for and could be a key factor in bringing them back to the negotiating table.
New tonight, Dallas police are investigating a deadly crash involving a Dallas Fire Rescue ambulance. Police say the ambulance was responding to a call when it was involved in a crash at the intersection of Savoy Street and Rugged Drive. One person in the car was taken to the hospital where they died from their injuries. A child was also taken to the hospital with minor injuries, and 2 medics and an intern were also taken to get checked out.
Tonight, we're learning more about a deadly crash in Fort Worth that prompted a hazmat response. 2 people were killed, and a firefighter had to go to the hospital after being exposed. Adriana de Alba just spoke with concerned neighbors a few miles north of downtown.
A quiet North Fort Worth street, suddenly filled with sirens.
And I saw about 10-15 cops standing down at the corner.
More units arrive as neighbor Alyssa Rush was out for her daily walk.
Seeing this many cops and now the helicopter flying around for the past hour, a little concerning.
Fort Worth police say just before 11:30 today, a van hit this parked truck on Delga Street, kept going, then hit a fence. Inside, 2 men, a passenger dead. The driver, treated by first responders, also died. But this is not just any crash. Inside the wrecked van was something else.
There's a large amount of a hazardous chemical that's inside that van.
Police say that unknown chemical was extremely toxic, dangerous enough to lock down the block and send a firefighter to the hospital.
Investigators spending more than 5 hours combing through this scene. We also have watched as people showed up in hazmat suits to comb through that van and remove the bodies.
One neighbor telling us police asked her to stay inside. Others watched from a distance.
Yeah, I was being a little nosy.
Curiosity quickly turned to worry.
I was a little concerned, but
Police later telling us the firefighter who was checked out is doing okay.
Yeah, we do believe it is drug related.
A narcotics team and the DEA investigating what exactly that substance was.
They brought a very toxic chemical into this neighborhood, this great neighborhood that they didn't need to.
The neighborhood street closed for hours. The van left stranded, its doors wide open. A routine afternoon interrupted by something far more dangerous than anyone could see. In Fort Worth, I'm Adriana De Alba.
Still ahead, the University of Dallas's men's basketball team left scrambling, how they lost tens of thousands of dollars they paid for a special trip to London. Plus, the Artemis II crew shares new details about their trip around the moon.
And coming up in sports, our Michelle Montaigne sits down one-on-one with the Dallas Wings' newest #1 overall pick, AZ Fudd.